Hey everyone, and welcome to Interesting Now. Today we're diving headfirst into a topic that's both complex and, let's be honest, a little bit unnerving: military power. Specifically, we're comparing the military might of the United States and China. Now, before you click away thinking, not another boring military comparison, I promise you, this isn't just about tanks and missiles and who has the bigger bombs. This is about understanding the strategic landscape of the 21st century, the forces shaping global politics, and what it all means for, the future of humanity. No pressure, right? So, buckle up, because we're about to embark on a deep dive into the military capabilities, strategies, and, dare I say, anxieties of two global superpowers. By the end of this video, you'll have a better grasp on the current balance of military power, and be able to impress your friends with your newfound geopolitical knowledge. Let's get to it. Alright, let's talk money. Because when it comes to building a formidable military, well, it takes a lot of dough. The United States for decades has been the undisputed heavyweight champion of military spending. In 2023, the U.S. defense budget clocked in at a staggering $886 billion. That's billion with a B, folks. To put that in perspective, it's more than the next 10 countries' military budgets combined. China, however, is rapidly catching up. Their official defense budget for 2023 is estimated to be around $292 billion. While that's still significantly less than the US, it represents a consistent upward trend in Chinese military spending, which has been growing steadily for over 2 decades. Now, you might be thinking, okay, so the US spends more, but what are they actually spending it on? Well, a big chunk of the US military budget goes towards maintaining its global military presence. Think hundreds of military bases, a massive naval fleet, and a constant deployment of troops around the world. Then there's the research and development of cutting-edge military technology, things like stealth fighters, advanced drones, and cyber warfare capabilities. China, on the other hand, has been focusing its spending on modernizing its military and developing capabilities specifically designed to counter US strengths. This includes investing heavily in their navy, expanding their nuclear arsenal, and developing hypersonic missiles, which are really fast and hard to shoot down. But here's the thing about military budgets: they're not just about numbers, they're about priorities. The US, with its global commitments and interventionist foreign policy, prioritizes maintaining its military dominance across the board. China, with its focus on regional power projection and deterring US intervention, is taking a more targeted approach, investing in areas where they believe they can achieve strategic parity or even superiority. Think of it like this: the US is playing a massive game of chess on multiple boards simultaneously, while China is laser-focused on a single, crucial game. Which strategy proves more effective in the long run? Well, that's a question for the historians of the future. But what we can say for sure is that the economic engine behind these military machines plays a crucial role in shaping the balance of power. The US, despite its massive debt, still boasts the world's largest economy. China, though, is hot on its heels, with an economy that's been growing at a breakneck pace for decades. This economic strength provides the foundation for their growing military capabilities, and it's a trend that has many analysts and policymakers in the West feeling a little uneasy. After all, a richer China means a more militarily capable China, and that inevitably shifts the balance of power. Now, it's important to note that a larger military budget doesn't automatically translate to a more effective military. Factors like training, leadership, morale, and yes, even a little bit of luck on the battlefield, all play a role in determining military outcomes. But there's no denying that money matters. It buys you the latest technology, attracts skilled personnel, and allows you to project power on a global scale. And in the high-stakes game of geopolitics, where the line between peace and conflict can be razor-thin, having a well-funded and equipped military is often seen as the ultimate insurance policy. So, as we move on to the next chapter, keep these budgetary realities in mind, because understanding who spends what, and more importantly, why they spend it, is crucial to grasping the complex dynamics at play between these two military giants. Okay, so we've talked about the financial firepower behind these military machines, but now let's delve into the minds behind the military, the strategic thinking that guides their actions, in other words, their military doctrines. The US, with its history of global engagement and interventionism, has adopted a doctrine that emphasizes power projection, technological superiority, and decisive military victories. Think shock and awe, rapid deployments, and maintaining the ability to fight on multiple fronts simultaneously. This doctrine, often referred to as full-spectrum dominance, aims to deter adversaries by making the cost of conflict too high, and if deterrence fails, to achieve a swift and decisive victory. It's a doctrine born out of the US's unique position as a global superpower with unparalleled military might. China, on the other hand, has adopted a doctrine shaped by its history, its geography, and its own aspirations for the future. Their doctrine, often characterized as active defense, emphasizes territorial integrity, regional power projection, and deterring foreign intervention, particularly from the US. Unlike the US, which often seeks to project power globally, China's military doctrine is more regionally focused, with a particular emphasis on the Asia-Pacific region. This is where things get really interesting, because the two doctrines, while seemingly different, are increasingly coming into contact, creating friction points and raising the risk of miscalculation. The US, with its global outlook, sees China's growing military presence in the Asia-Pacific as a challenge to its own dominance in the region. China, on the other hand, sees the US's military presence in the region as a threat to its own security and a legacy of Cold War thinking. This clash of perspectives, fueled by historical grievances, ideological differences, and a healthy dose of mistrust, creates a volatile mix that has many experts concerned. One area where this clash of doctrines is particularly evident is in the South China Sea. China claims almost the entire sea as its own sovereign territory, a claim disputed by its neighbors and the US. The US, in line with its doctrine of freedom of navigation, conducts regular naval patrols in the region, much to the ire of China, which sees these patrols as provocative and a violation of its sovereignty. Another area of concern is the Taiwan Strait. China views Taiwan as a breakaway province that must eventually be reunited with the mainland, by force if necessary. The US, while officially recognizing the One China policy, has committed to providing Taiwan with the means to defend itself, creating a potentially explosive situation. These are just two examples of the many flashpoints where US and Chinese military doctrines intersect, creating a complex and often dangerous strategic landscape. It's important to note that military doctrines are not static. They evolve over time, influenced by changing geopolitical realities, technological advancements, and the lessons learned from past conflicts. China's military doctrine in particular has undergone significant changes in recent years, shifting from a focus on land warfare to a more modern, technologically advanced force, capable of projecting power further from its shores. This shift is reflected in China's growing naval capabilities, its investments in cyber warfare and space-based assets, and its development of long-range precision strike capabilities. The US too is adapting its military doctrine to meet the challenges posed by a rising China. This includes a renewed focus on great power competition, investments in hypersonic weapons and artificial intelligence, and a shift away from counter-terrorism operations towards deterring and, if necessary, confronting near-peer competitors like China. This constant evolution of military doctrines, coupled with the inherent risks of miscalculation and escalation, makes understanding these strategic blueprints all the more crucial. Because it's not just about the weapons themselves but about the intentions behind them, the perceived threats, and the potential consequences of misinterpreting the other side's actions. As we navigate this increasingly complex and uncertain world, understanding the military doctrines of these two global giants is not just an academic exercise. It's about equipping ourselves with the knowledge to make sense of the headlines, to engage in informed discussions, and to appreciate the delicate balance of power that shapes our world. So, there you have it. A glimpse into the intricate and often anxiety-inducing world of military power comparisons. We've explored the vast sums of money poured into defense budgets, the strategic thinking behind military doctrines, and the potential flashpoints where these two giants could collide. But as we wrap up, it's important to remember that this isn't just a simple game of Risk, where the player with the most tanks wins. The reality of military power in the 21st century is far more nuanced, involving a complex interplay of economic might, technological innovation, diplomatic maneuvering, and yes, even a bit of old-fashioned luck. The future of the balance of power between the US and China is still being written, and it's a story that will have profound implications for all of us. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more insightful comparisons. Let us know in the comments which topic you'd like us to cover next.